You think at least one time you'd get up and say, I'm running for president. Where am I going? Where the hell am I going? I want to get out. Oh, no, over there, over there. A prepackaged video that took supposedly 7 takes to get it right, if right is what you want to call it. In it, he says he's running because Trump and MAGA pose a threat to democracy. Can you believe it?
Finance don't understand that the ledger systems that our traditional financial system run on, both in the banking system and in the securities system, are not honest ledgers. And this is a really simple concept. All we really want is an honest ledger. Because if we have an honest ledger, then the fruits of our labor can be saved in a way that someone else is not stealing it.
It's a very powerful idea. I mean,
Let's be clear, absolutely clear. There is nothing inherently superior about non-sovereign digital currency in protecting privacy over central bank digital currency. Nothing whatsoever. Both of them will be massive honeypots of users' financial data, creating the opportunity for wide-scale mischief and abuse. It's entirely foreseeable that private sector sponsors of cryptocurrencies and stablecoins, or even commercial servicers of digital dollars, such as wallet providers, could be put under government pressure to conduct surveillance, report on activity, and disable financial transactions with disfavored groups and activities.
What we learned from the UNHCR and from other aid organizations, and now we work with many, is that delivering humanitarian aid is different. If you're working in a cash system, delivering cash is really challenging sometimes because it creates safety concerns for the individuals who are collecting the cash from the sites. There's a lot of fraud in the system. And what's the best thing to solve for fraud, despite what some people say, but blockchain. And so these actually are really good solutions around that. And so we thought, okay, we have this great relationship with MoneyGram where they have the cash, you can cash out or cash in on the edge. And those banks and those relationships, as well as the banking relationships, were working very well in Ukraine despite the war. So we built this bulk uploading tool, which is called the SDP, Stellar Disbursement Platform, but really it's just a bulk uploading tool where you can put in all of the information and upload thousands of transactions at once, and then you can have the aid delivered to the individuals in Ukraine in literally 2 minutes from start to finish, meaning they have to download a wallet, and so they get a text message from the UNHCR that says, hey, you're eligible to receive aid, and then they download the wallet, and the aid is actually in their wallet when they receive it. They can then cash out at MoneyGram. MoneyGram is active and live in Ukraine, or they can choose to send it to their bank account, or they can choose to just hold the assets and not do anything with it at the moment until they feel safe to go out to do any of those things.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, we know blockchain is the beast system. It gives the NWO the all-seeing eye. But yes, we see public blockchains, but we know those who are in crypto, we know the NWO is going to have private blockchains where we won't be able to see anything. And that's the reason why it's very, very important for you to understand the technology. So therefore, you can protect your privacy. And we have Giancarlo speaking about privacy and this wealth of data that the NWO is going to have. But remember, guys, when you're swiping your debit card, credit card, which most people do, they're already getting the data. But with AI, they're going to be able to make this data smarter. Because remember, guys, we're creatures of habit. With all this data, they're going to know you better than you know yourself. And guys, why do we have CEOs of companies? That's right, they're just talking heads. They have nothing to do with the company. And we have Danielle Dixon of Stellar speaking about how easy it is to get donations in Ukraine. And guys, we know Ukraine was already setting up for the fourth industrial revolution. You can date it back to 2014 and earlier. And if you have my NWO book, I speak about all the fraud that goes into these companies that take donations. But guys, remember, these big NWO corporations are going to have private blockchains. If you think all of a sudden because blockchain is here, all the illegal activity is going to stop, you don't know that the banks are the biggest what? I'll let you finish that. And before the central banks can bring in these robots, algorithms, and drones, we know we need that crisis. And that crisis is right around the corner. And we hear those drums are beating. But first, we have to get that distraction. And we know that distraction right now is the debt ceiling. And we have McCarthy and Ted Cruz saying that it's all on the Democrats and Biden. And guys, we know this is nothing but the Hegelian dialectic, the team. The Democrats say it's Republicans' fault. Republicans say it's the Democrats' fault. And you would think the masses wouldn't fall for this childish game as long as it's been played. But guys, we know this is 100% proof. So of course the NWO is going to stick to the playbook because it works every single time. Remember, the NWO are the master magicians. They're going to be sneaking this money behind the curtain so therefore they can start building. We know the technology is already here. And by the time the masses wake up, the machines would have taken over the economy. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Criticism has been that you had no plan, and we can't see what he's saying. You know, give us a plan. He can't give us a plan. Now that you've got a plan, it's been called a ransom note by Hakeem Jeffries, Representative Jeffries, who says that you're saying effectively, pass our extreme MAGA Republican bill or else America is going to default. I'm just wondering whether anything has changed. Have you heard anything, any softening? I know the press secretary, White House press secretary said, no way. We must immediately pass a clean bill. There's going to be no negotiations. Is there anything going on behind the scenes, Speaker? Have you heard from anyone from the president or below that maybe they're softening that stance?
You know, I met with the president February 1st in the Oval Office. We sat down. We talked about how we could move forward, how we would not make the economy in any jeopardy. The president then said the next day at the prayer breakfast, we're going to meet again, that we're going to get this done. Since that, 85 days since then, I've heard nothing from him.
Happened in the Senate, and then you got, on top of everything else, what's the president going to sign? What is actually going to finally happen, Mr. Speaker? What's going to be in the final bill? What would you settle for? What would President Biden and Democrats allow to be in there that would get where you could get enough votes to pass it in the House again?
Well, we just showed to the American public what we would settle for. We not only offered it, we passed it. I have no idea what the Democrats can do or what they're able to achieve because they have not shown it to the American public. They won't even sit down to communicate with one another. But don't take my place. Even Democrats today are reaching out and saying the president is wrong. From Debbie Dingell, from Amy Klobuchar. You even have Clyburn the other day saying that the president should sit down and talk with me, myself, the speaker, because he should negotiate just like he's done every time before. Remember what the former speaker, Nancy Pelosi, said. She said, raising the debt limit without having a budget negotiation will not pass and will not happen. So for all this falsity out there, what people report, every single time you raise the debt limit, there was a negotiation on where we went with budget. The only difference is the Democrats always wanted to spend more. Anytime you want to curve the inflation, anytime you want to end dependency on China, people rise up and say that's wrong. Well, no, it's not. Because when Schumer sat in 2017 and said his only leverage was in the debt ceiling, our debt was at $20 trillion. Today it's $32 trillion. When are we going to pause and stop playing politics and look to the future? We cannot continue to spend in this manner and borrow as much as we are. The president cannot sit back and think he cannot find any place to have savings.
Joe, let me start by saying I agree with you that defaulting would be a terrible outcome.
Everyone says that.
And I believe the United States should never default. But the interesting thing is, Joe, you know, there's one person on planet Earth who can actually guarantee we not default, and his name is Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
You can see why he won't do it, though.
And the president could stand up and say the following. He could stand up and say the United States will never, ever, ever default on our debt. We will pay our debts. Now, if they did that every month, the federal government takes in more in tax revenue than interest on the debt. So Biden could do that tomorrow. The reason he doesn't want to do that is he wants to scaremonger. He wants to threaten a default. He wants to freak out the equity markets, the bond markets, and this is deliberate scaremongering. What I will tell you, you know what's dangerous? $32 trillion in debt is dangerous. What's dangerous is politicians that are bankrupting this country. As interest rates are rising, the cost of serving the debt is going up and up and up, and Biden and the Democrats don't want to change course at all. And historically, the debt ceiling has proven the most effective lever to force real and meaningful fiscal reforms. And I'll point back to 2010, the Budget Control Act. Then Republicans stood on the debt ceiling, said, we're going to use this leverage. Obama was president, and Obama blinked. And the person who negotiated the Budget Control Act was Joe Biden, who negotiated it with Mitch McConnell. What Biden is saying now is wildly irresponsible. I won't negotiate. I won't talk to anyone. To hell with you. Default on the debt. That is wrong, and it is indefensible, and I don't think he's going to be able to hold that line because Kevin McCarthy in the House cannot give in to him on a clean debt ceiling, and so Biden is going to blink, or else he's going to drive this country off a cliff.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
It's Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Xrp, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.